I mean, seriously.
I know. I am too.
Yeah, that's actually a really key point. Like, when is it best? When are you like at your peak for intimacy, for making love?
Just had Thanksgiving. It was amazing. How was your Thanksgiving, babe?
It was good. You know, the thing about Thanksgiving and family is it just goes too fast. Do you ever feel like that?
Yeah, it went by really fast for sure.
Like, I feel like, you know, family comes into town, you haven't seen them in a long time, you have all these, like, great expectations. Well, maybe other people don't have expectations, but I have expectations that I want to, like, have these great conversations with people and, like, really find out what's going on in their life.
And nobody cares.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they care, maybe they don't. But there's just so much going on. Like, you're eating, and there's so many kids, and you're trying to make sure that the kids eat, and, like, you're cooking, and, you know, there's just, like, you get interrupted so much that it's hard.
It's a lot of setup, a lot of work.
So much
to get through
setup,
that.
and then so much cleanup, and then you, like, eat so fast, and then you're so full, and then it's over.
And I literally spent the entire day cleaning out my one section of my closet. That's it. Literally woke up. We had a plan to go on a hike, our tradition of going on a hike, but I had already pulled stuff out of the closet, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to do this. But literally, it took me the entire day to do that.
It
like,
takes
section
so
of the closet.
long
Still have all my drawers.
You haven't done your drawers?
I have not done my drawers.
Well, I cleaned out my entire home office, which was incredible. Feels so good, every drawer. But that's like one tiny spot of our house. And I feel like I wanted to do my closet.
It's too much.
I
But
did
isn't
my
it-
drawers. I did my drawers, but I haven't done like the
But
actual
the funny
closet.
thing that you said, you've always been like, because we're moving and we're looking at houses, you've always wanted like these white walls, bright lights, a lot of windows. And then in our office, it's very dark colors, very like your sweatshirt kind of vibe,
Very
oaky
moody.
wood, like this desk, you can't see it. But, and it's all clean and looks really good. You spent all day doing it and you're like, actually, I really like it.
I know. I was hating my desk space so much because it was so cluttered because I never feel like I have time to organize it. And so it's just like piles of different things. And I write notes on all these different papers as I'm doing appointments. And then I'm like, oh, I can't get rid of that note because that note's kind of important. And so then I just stack and stack. And then going into my office feels like chaos and I don't like it and it's not good. And so then I'm like, I want to leave. I want a new house. I think like, I want a new house. I want a fresh start, like a clean slate.
We
I
don't
want
even clean our cars. We just get new cars.
Seriously, I just want to like start fresh. And then I actually took the time to organize. So I'm like, well, if we're going to move, I should probably start the organizing process, the downsizing
Eliminating.
process. Yeah, the elimination, like purging process now. And now all of a sudden I love my space. I love my space.
I thought that it was really, there was this viral clip that I sent you.
Oh, I
and
loved
maybe I'll
it.
make this a clip, so I'll make a viral clip of the viral clip. But how the guy says in Limitless, if you've seen the movie, he takes the pill and eventually he's unlimited, right? His brain, and he's got so much focus. And the very first thing that he does is goes to his little pigsty apartment and just starts organizing and cleaning and spotless. That's the first thing he does, not like go and solve hunger or go and like, you know, change the world. He's like goes and organizes his
Space. There's something to be said about that.
When we move, we got to just like have like standards of with our kids because we're always just like create habits like the junk drawer or like dropping the bags by the door, whatever people do. In our house, it's literally they just come and they just like throw their backpacks down right by the
Like
table
the
we're locking.
entrance, yeah.
And it's, you know, it's heavy. Their rooms are upstairs and they're about to do their homework. So I don't make a thing of it, but it's like, let's like have things where we don't do that. Like the mudroom. Tennessee has the mudroom.
mud
Have you heard of the
room.
mudroom, people? California people never heard of the mudroom.
Oh my
We don't
gosh, you
get mud.
come in and there's hooks and you put your backpack on a hook and there's a little basket for your shoes and you put your shoes in there and Yeah, and then you enter. And if you think about it, when the kids go to school, they have a hook for their backpack. They take out their lunch pails and they put their lunch pails into place. And they take their folders and they put their folder in a spot. And so at school, they're teaching kids to be organized. But at home, if we're
ruining them.
Yeah, if we don't like have these expectations, like, hey, this is where this stuff goes. You take your lunchbox out, you clean it out, you put it here, you put your shoes here and your backpack here and create these standards. They're just like messy kids.
Yeah.
And then you get mad at the kids, but it's not the kids' fault. It's like your fault. Like you're supposed to teach them and then hold them accountable. And it all rises and falls on leadership. And as a parent, we're the leader.
We were checking out some of the private schools in Tennessee, and one of the schools that we're going on the tour, and she literally made a point to show the mudroom in each classroom. You go to the kindergarten, and progressively you just see how much nicer.
Yeah.
And it was like a big deal to them. Like,
But they're
I'm like, all
teaching
right,
the kids.
I didn't really care that much, and then she kept like bringing a point to it. I'm like, oh yeah, this one is nicer as they got older and everything. So,
But then you think like they're starting it so young of teaching them how to be organized and how to keep your space clean and everything has a spot and how that's obviously develops a successful behavioral pattern so that when you want to go and achieve awesome things, you can do it because your space is organized.
yeah, and I am not an organized person. I literally.
Let's change that.
Yeah.
You can change your identity.
I am. I already did. I'm changed it.
Isn't that crazy?
It's been changed. It's been changed. But
No, but I've been thinking about that lately.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about lately just of like identities. Of how we'll say things like, I'm not that kind of a person.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, of course, like certain people's natural tendency can be one way or another. But then I started to think like, well, what if I wanted to change that about me?
Yeah.
Like, what if I want to become that kind of a person? How do I become that kind of person? Everything is habitual.
Yeah.
Everything. So, and probably somewhat naturally, like genetically composed. But if you think like, I've never been a reader. Like I've never been a reader, but I've always wanted to be a reader.
you can learn to read, babe.
I know how to read,
Oh, okay.
but like I'm just a doer. Like I do so many things, and so to sit down and read, it's like I just fall asleep because I finally like slowed down
Dude,
enough.
last night I was like, we were like riled up, we were talking, and I thought for sure you were gonna be staying up a little bit later with me because I always have a hard time falling asleep. I swear to God, we were talking like high intense, like life-changing stuff, and 10 seconds later I hear, I'm like, this is a gift. She has a gift from God because it's the worst that I can't fall asleep.
Did I snore?
No, but you're just like,
You could tell I was asleep. Did I?
no.
Okay, good. You could tell I was sleeping.
No, yeah, just like, I'm not kidding. 10 seconds. I was like, I don't understand how she could do this. And especially because your mind's always racing and I always feel like that's what makes it hard for me to sleep. Your mind's always racing, but for some reason you're like, okay, I'm tired. And you could just
I think it's because I
turn it
go
off.
hard all day. I go so hard all day, and then I just like, my body just...
And you've been waking up super early.
Yeah.
Just since we've been
I
back
had
in
woken
Tennessee.
up at 4:30 in the morning that morning.
You're still on Central Time.
Well, actually, I think it's just the way my brain works. If I wake up early, then my mind starts going and I can't go back to sleep. And I'm like, well, I might as well wake up right now. But what's lame for you, because you have that same thing but at night, is it's like saying like, well, I might as well just stay up and do something isn't really helpful because you still have to wake up and like
I know,
be
it's
a part of
torture.
the family. Like if you could sleep in till like 9, 10 is fine. But like when you got to like have kids and you got to take them to school and help out, like you...
Yeah, I don't know what to do. I literally wake up. My eyes are like puffy, red eyes. Like, doesn't matter what I do. I'm just like, why doesn't everybody else wakes up like, all right, good morning. Everyone comes, the kids come in, and I'm just like, why do I feel like I've been hit by a truck and like did nothing other than went to sleep?
Well, circling back to like building a new identity, like, okay, can that happen when it comes to like waking up earlier? Or is it just like you're either a morning person or a night person?
I think that you're either a morning person or a night person, 100%. But I will see, like, for example, when we were in Tennessee, you have to be up 2 hours early. You just kind of like, okay, that's the time I'm now waking up.
You just adjust.
But then I still wake up. I'm just as tired there as I am when I come back. And it is what it is. But I do know because I'm just better at night. Like I'm more creative at night. I'm more like want to like do stuff at night. I'm better at like editing videos and all of that stuff.
Where I am
just
my
better.
worst self
Yeah,
at
you
night.
become a
I am my
terrible
worst self at
person after 10 p.m.
Like, don't talk to me. Don't even talk to myself. Stop thinking.
Yeah.
Just go to bed. But that's what's interesting. I have another book that I've been reading because, by the way, I
Oh,
want to
identity
become
shift.
a reader. So I'm like, well, I can become a reader. I just have to start reading and then create a habit of reading. And then once you create a habit long enough, then that becomes your identity. Now I'm a reader, right? So I wouldn't consider myself really a reader yet, but I would consider myself somebody becoming
No, you
a
have, to
reader.
you have to claim it now. You're a reader.
Okay.
You're a
yeah,
reader.
I'm a reader.
Yeah.
I'm a reader.
That's what they always say. Like with it, like anybody that, for example, if you want to stop, if you're an alcoholic, the people that say, "I don't drink anymore," have a way better way of like stopping than
Like
saying
chance.
like, "Oh, I'm trying not to drink right now."
Yeah, don't say you're trying. Then
Or
you're always
like,
trying,
yeah,
right? So you just claim
Yeah,
it
yeah.
and then back it with action.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a reader, and then you're like, well, I'm a reader, so I should read.
You're a reader, and you're going to be a writer. You're a very good
I am
writer.
a writer.
She's very good at writing. I've always told her she should write, start a vlog.
Maybe I
And,
will. Would you read my blog? Blog. Watch my vlog and read my blog.
Watch your vlog.
And read
your
my blog. Yeah. Okay, but because I'm a reader, I was reading a book called God in My Everything, recommended by my best friend / pastor, Brittany Park. And it's really good. And it talks about, it's a pastor who used to be like in the corporate world, overworked, underslept, just worked, hustled, and then literally dropped the corporate life and became a pastor in Canada. And he's actually originally from Japan.
Crazy.
And got married, had babies, became a pastor. But still, like in a pastor capacity, you could work your butt off, and it's never over. Like it's just like an entrepreneur, like business owner. It's never over. You don't like punch, clock in, clock out, right? So he ended up going to Ireland with some like friends of his who are also pastors, and they studied these monks and like the life of these monks and just their patterns. But these monks were unique because some monks they kind of disassociate from the world and they just spend their whole life just like meditating and in prayer and in service.
Start doing meth.
Yeah.
True story.
Seriously.
Look it up. Bunch of monks were doing meth.
That's crazy.
Insane story. But anyways, continue.
Oh, how sad.
Terrible.
So sad. Well, because I think we are meant to do stuff.
Yeah.
So did they just get bored?
I mean, well, you're just tripping. Yeah, you're on drugs. You're just like tapping into something else with your brain, I guess. I don't know.
Well, anyway, these
Not
monks
a big
that
meth fan. Don't know much about it.
Yeah, these monks that he studied were not like that. They weren't doing meth, but they were also way more outwardly based. So even though their life was all about spirituality and living for God, they were way more in service and like to the community and to the people
That's my
and
kind
like
of monk.
yeah, like outwardly. And so he was saying the whole book is about, obviously he's not going to go become a monk, but we can learn from those principles of like of having patterns of life and kind of like a rule for life and figuring out when you're most productive and when you should do certain things. And so I was thinking like, oh, that's so true. That's so interesting. Like for some people, working out in the morning is like the only way and the only time they can do it.
Yeah.
But for others, working out at night is the best effective time for them to do it, or the afternoon right after work before going to dinner, right? For some people, like my most productive, best thinking hours is for sure like the morning all the way up until lunch, right? Those are like my morning until lunch is like my most productive times. And where somebody else, it might be in the evening. Your most creative, productive time is at night. And so you find out like, oh, I'm best doing this at night. We're like and finding out like when's the best time for me to like connect with my family. When's the best time? Or am I like super stressed out at night? And maybe it's better if I like spend breakfast with my family and I'm like, that's when I'm the most engaged, And not saying then you don't have dinner, but like finding out like when your peak, like, and then certain other times, like I realize like in the afternoons, like maybe more administrative tasks that like stuff that needs to get done, but not like my creative, not like my stuff that involves like inspiration needs to get done, but like administrative tasks can get done then.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much brain power. It's kind of just do it, And then at night, I just realized like I'm not creative at all. In fact, I think the world's gonna end. So that point, I should just like rest, read, relax.
Also, not a good time to try to be intimate with you.
That is true. Yeah. I mean, seriously.
I know. I am too.
Yeah. That's actually a really key point. like, when is it best? When are you like at your peak for intimacy?
I mean,
making
for me,
love?
if you woke me up even in the morning, I think I could wake up 6 a.m.
Interesting.
But I think I prefer it at night.
So you're ready to go anytime, doesn't matter. Anytime.
Yes.
You know what's also interesting that I was thinking about? Like, thinking about making love. I was thinking about how I did this training for our team recently on the 6 human needs. So Tony Robbins has this, like, kind of topic or training or writing
Study.
Thank you.
Research
Yes.
studies probably.
Tony Robbins has this study where he talks about the 6 basic human needs. Like, we're all super different, but we all have these 6 basic human needs, which one is certainty, right?
Mm-hmm.
One is variety, significance, growth, contribution, and love and connection. And we all have these 6 things that we need as humans, but some of us prioritize or have like a heightened one over the others, right? Like, they're all important to a certain extent to us, but usually each person has 1 or 2 that are their like primary needs that they need met. And so I was explaining this because then it teaches you a lot about yourself. It teaches you a lot about your spouse, your kids. It teaches you a lot about your clients or your teammates. Like, when you're building a business, like, oh, this person really needs certainty. Need to give them that. And then if you meet someone's need, they'll go into business with you, right? Or if you have an employee and you meet their need, they'll stay with you. And if you don't, they'll eventually leave you, right? So knowing this stuff matters.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about that in our life because I feel like one of my primary needs is certainty and one of your primary needs is variety. And we're married.
Yes.
And I think there's probably a lot of spouses where you, and I think what attracted me to you was like your spontaneity, like that you're fun and you're like, you like to do fun things and you would like kind of get me out of my comfort zone to try new things. And maybe, I don't know what you liked about me, but maybe it was like, probably not the fact that I'm so certain, but maybe you like the fact that like I'm organized. I don't know. Am I organized?
What do I like about
What do you like about me?
What do
Okay. Well, anyway.
I do know what I like about you, but for me, it wasn't about the certainty. It was about that you were down to do all those things, that you were like down to have fun, but you were also really cool and really pretty, and you thought I was funny.
No.
And
That's true.
all those things.
But the certainty thing, like I think sometimes we are attracted to the opposite, like because But my point is I crave certainty. So like I can literally eat the same thing every day. We get a car and I'm like, I love this car. I never need a different car. I could drive the same car forever.
Yeah, you even if we get a new car, you want the same car, just a newer car.
Yeah, I just like, no, this is great. It's dirty. Let's just get the same car, but like
babe,
an upgraded
we can
version.
watch this and then we can get a completely different car.
Or like I could listen to the same like
Oh,
5
not
songs.
could, you do.
I listen to the same 5 songs.
That's what I hate
over
about
and
Kiss
over.
FM is like literally they play the same songs over and over, but most people apparently
Doesn't bother
really
me.
like that. That drives me crazy.
Yeah, where you're opposite. Like I could go to the same restaurants or the same thing. I know it's what I like.
Roger was just saying today before I walked in here, he's like, dude, every time I see your style changes, like you're always doing, and I'm like, yeah, that's just, well, because I used to always wear a suit all the time, so I think he's noticing it more because we don't really wear suits as much anymore, or I don't. And I'm like, yeah, I just always been that way. I don't know how people keep the same style. Like most people are just like, what they wore since like high school, they're still kind of rocking it.
I know.
And for me, I just, for whatever reason, have never been that way. I've gone from like super emo to like super gangster. No, never
like
gangster.
cowboy.
Cowboy to like, yeah, I got
like all of a sudden you're wearing
mustache to
cowboy
long
boots.
hair.
I'm like, when did that happen?
Yeah. So, but it's just everything in my life is like that. I just, I need it. I want it.
You like
I
were
like it.
obsessed about getting a Tesla for so long. Like you planned it out. You put the down payment in years before we could even get it because it was like a wait list. Then we get it. You plan the color you want, the interior. We finally get it. We have it for 1 year. You get in that accident. It totals the car. I'm thinking we're going to get a new Tesla again. And you're like, nope, Jeep. Like we went from a white Tesla,
No, silver
with white interior,
light silver, yeah.
light silver with white interior Tesla to like a bright red Jeep with black interior with the top off, like completely different car. I'm like, what happened to the Tesla? And you're like, we had that already, even though you had wanted it for years. Same thing. You change your hair all the time. You change your style, like everything. You are variety. You are variety. I am certainty. I want a plan. I want to know what's coming. You want no plan. I write to-do lists. You write to don't lists. Like, that's crazy. But I was thinking about this even more. I was like, it's crazy that this still works because we're so different. And I think a lot of spouses are like that. Even when I was thinking about like being intimate. Like, I always feel like, okay, A plus B equals O. The goal is O.
I like it.
That's the goal. Like, that's a goal. So if we know A plus B equals O, that's just what we do every time. Like, that's the end goal. That's what we want to get to. That's when we're happy and satisfied. We reach the goal. Then we got tons of other things we move on to. We got things we got to do, places we got to go. Boom. And you are like, no, I don't want to do A plus B equals O. I want to try all the things. I want to have fun. I want to play different roles. I want to be different people in the bedroom.
Be the nurse.
Like, you want to try different things. I'm like, why do we got to do this? Why do we got to do this? Like, we just want to get to O. We already know what gets to O. We don't need to mess around.
Which is fine. I am all about the O. Like, as long as I get there. But yeah, I guess this life is short, man. And it's like, why not? Especially because I'm not getting variety with women. It's only you. Oh. It's always been you.
True.
You are the only person I've ever been with. And so it's like, okay, well, this is like, God willing, it's going to be the rest of our lives for a very long time until I can't get it up anymore, whatever. And so why not just like do fun things, different places and things like that? But
you're right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right,
you guys heard that. Put it on the...
But like what I'm saying is that study made me think, like really diving into it and teaching it made me realize like, oh, this is one of your needs. And it's not always just about getting to the goal.
Yeah.
It's also could be about
the journey.
Being playful and having fun. And the journey and like really enjoying it and not just doing it to get to the next thing, but like really being in it. And it just made me like want to give that to you more.
I appreciate that. And I feel like a lot of people think that once I get to here, I'll be happy. You hear that a lot. It's the same thing. It's like you need to be happy now. And then, because you'll get that thing and you think that's going to make you happy. Everyone always says this, but it's so true that you get the money, you're going to be happy. You get the job, you're going to be happy. I was literally listening to a podcast this morning, and this person who was struggling with depression, but she had this millions of followers or whatever. And then she was talking about, mental stuff. And people were like, you can't be like that. You're not allowed to be depressed because like you've done it. You're like successful and everybody wants to be like you and all stuff. And you're like, oh, you think that like that's
this is what makes you happy?
Like, no. You make yourself happy and you like, and I really do think it can't be about you. It has to be about other people. That's the only way you're really going to.
It is. Well, what Tony Robbins says in the study is the needs of the personality are certainty, variety, love and connection, and significance. But the needs of the spirit, where you find true fulfillment, is growth and contribution. So to help offset depression, if you're growing and you're contributing to the lives of other people, like helping others, you will be less depressed. And the biggest one of all, another study that I just read, is gratitude. I mean, it doesn't cure depression. I think this is a little too simplistic to think that like these things cure depression. I don't think they cure depression.
Levels of depression too.
Yeah, and some of them for sure need to be managed through medication and therapy and all that stuff. But there are basic things that you can do to help yourself get out of it, the things that are beyond a chemical, imbalance. And gratitude is everything. It's everything. Gratitude, it's insane how gratitude will actually motivate you to work out more, to exercise more. It's studies have proven that gratitude will help you. You'll be more motivated to work out more, to eat less. It actually lowers blood sugar levels. Like, it is proven to lower A1C levels, which is basically what indicates like if you're diabetic or not. It improves sleep. Like, literally scientifically proven that practicing gratitude has all of these physical benefits plus emotional benefits of just creating more optimism, more positivity, more of a growth mindset.
I know you were, because you were talking about this in a training, just last week, and I started thinking about it because one of the things that I realized, because I feel like less of all of those things than I used to, and I was thinking about
Less of what? Less.
just like less. I've been feeling in the past like less grateful and less happy and better, like all the things.
Not sleeping is good.
Not sleeping
Yeah.
is good. Everything. And I started realizing one of the biggest things that I used to always do, like literally, there was not a night where I didn't pray before I went to bed. Like I just like, it was like almost like if I don't go to pray, like it was almost like legalistic, not in a good way, but when you pray, when I prayed, I basically would say like, thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for, and I would like literally say the things that I was thankful for first. And
Yeah.
why when I went to bed, and then I didn't really do it as much when I woke up, but at night, every single night I would do that. I started thinking when you were doing the train, I'm like, yeah, I don't really do that anymore. Like I'll pray, but like it's not every night, and it's not like, and for God, it's like you don't have to be Christian, but you can be like grateful. It's like, God, thank you for this day, but like whatever.
You could have a gratitude
I'm
journal
so
and just
thankful,
write
yeah.
down the things you're grateful for.
But isn't that crazy? Like,
Yeah,
just,
like you
started
realize
realizing-
you stopped doing it, and it
Yeah.
actually affected your attitude and
Yeah.
the way you felt and the way you slept and everything.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, like you think, like it's all this, like it's all cyclical or circular. Actually, it's circular. Where like when you exercise, you feel better. When you feel better, you're more grateful. But if you start with gratitude, then you'll want to exercise more. Then you'll feel better. Then you'll be more grateful. It's like it all is connected. But I think that if we could have this, like almost, they talked about too that almost every religion, like you said, it's not a Christian thing.
Yeah.
Every religion acknowledges there are certain virtues or values that they really acknowledge. Gratitude is one of them. Humility is one of them, and service, right? Like serving others, thinking of yourself less, not thinking less of yourself, but just thinking of yourself less, and then gratitude. But the most underestimated virtue of all, and the most under-practiced, is gratitude.
Yeah.
And that's the one that gives so many benefits: less materialism, less envy, less jealousy. I mean, think about it. When you feel jealous, like, man, this person's winning faster than me or whatever, and then you just stop and you're like, man, I'm so thankful for my business. I'm so thankful for the people that are loyal, that show up to work every day to serve others, to fight for their dreams. Like, I'm so thankful for my kids. Even you could get frustrated, like they just throw their backpacks on the ground. Like, I'm just so thankful I have healthy kids.
Yeah. You could honestly,
Change
I thought
your
about that this
life.
morning. I'll go out in the morning and put the sun on my eyes, drink a little bit of coffee, and have the sun hit my face. But this time, our neighbors, they're redoing their roof. So literally, they're just like ripping it. It's loud and right there. And I'm just like, great. And I was on the deck, on the balcony. So literally, I'm just like with them on the roof. And, but then I was thinking about it because we were talking about being grateful and gratitude. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, how can I switch that? I'm like, man, I'm so grateful. First of all, that it's sunny. This is amazing. It's a beautiful sunny day.
Seriously.
But I'm grateful that there are people that can like fix roofs. Like there's like people here that just do that, and they're gonna like.
They're really
fix
good at it.
And it's like amazing, and I'm so grateful for those kind of people. And then I started like trying to think of all the things that like what would be frustrating to me, and like how I can make it like why it's a good thing. And it's pretty crazy. You could pretty much do it with everything.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, like.
And then it changes your life.
Come on now.
I mean, it's just incredible. It's incredible. And the more you do it, it becomes a habit, and then it becomes your identity.
Yep.
And then it becomes your identity. And then you're just a grateful person. You're a grateful person. And you attract more people. Your kids are grateful. They say, too, families that religiously practice gratitude, their familial unit is so much stronger.
Heck yeah.
And so I started doing that with the kids, like, instead of like, how was your day? Which I still ask, but it's like, what happened? What's like one thing that happened today that you're really grateful for?
Yeah.
And it makes them like kind of think like, oh, I was really grateful that, I got a good grade on my math test, or I was really grateful for my friend who shared their fruit roll up with me, like little things like that. But then they start talking more and like opening up, but it's like this teaching them a habit, giving them a habit, or teaching them the practice of gratitude, which then becomes a habit, which then becomes your identity, is everything.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. You can say, "Oh, easy for you guys to say, like you're happily married and all this stuff." I don't have, my life sucks, dude. I've been on mission trips where there are people that have nothing, literally not even a home. They just build some stuff,
some cardboard boxes,
no food. They're just like trying to survive near a dumpster. And they seem like the most grateful people and the most like happy people. And just so you can, it doesn't matter what your situation is. And I feel like the quickest, faster way to get out of it is to be grateful. And I just posted on about Gary Vee, how, I don't know if you saw it, where he said like, you'll be happy as soon as you decide that everything is your fault. Like as soon as you can, because if it's not your fault, then you can't do anything about it. But if you blame other people, well then, there's nothing you do. But as soon as you're like, yeah, where I am in this situation right now, obviously you can't control everything. Bad things happen around you, your family, your kids, health, all that stuff. But what can I do right now to make it better instead of
and it's not so much fault as it is responsibility.
Yeah.
Like it's responsibility. Like anything that has happened in my life so far, even things, I mean, there definitely are things that you don't have control over.
Yeah.
And there are tragedies that you cannot control. And it's terrible. And like those things deserve to be acknowledged and really dealt with, things that you had no control over. Yeah. But we can all control how we respond to those things and who we become out of those things. And then you have the power. But when you blame, you're now a victim. You have no power. You can't even change it.
Yeah.
Versus when you take responsibility, now you can do something about it.
Love it.
So good.
And I do want to go back to when you're talking about going to the kids. Did you notice, like, we went to dinner, and then I was telling Alva, like, I don't even know you. You never tell me anything. You never, like, she's like, I tell you everything. Like, what are you talking about? Like, there's just nothing to talk about. I'm like, yeah, but I, like, for example, like, Mom comes and she like tells me about her day, and and I know her and I get to know her better by her just telling me her day. It doesn't have to be something excited. I don't have to like know some big deal like so and so broke up with Colin today or whatever. It's like I just want to know your day. And then so I think she didn't say anything,
but she definitely received
saw that
it
last night.
Yeah,
she came down and literally just told us
she sat in our bed
day.
And it was already, all the lights were off. We were going to bed, and she comes in and sits there and just tells us about her entire day. I loved it. And speaking of Olive, our pre-teen, about to be teenager, she's going to be 13 next month. Literally in 1 month exactly, she's going to be a teenager. And she's been kind of being attitude-y and, like typical preteen. And it's been like something that's been on my heart and my mind. Because, I acknowledge hormones, for sure, I get it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Like, you still need to be kind. Like, you can have a bunch of emotions going on, but how you talk to people, your mother, your sisters, your teachers,
your dad.
Yeah, it matters. Yeah. Like, you still need to be a kind person and talk with respect and love. And so we had that conversation, and I was like, look, I get it. You got a lot going on, and you got all these hormones happening in your body, and I understand because I've been there.
Sure, she loves that we're talking about it.
But, like, you just don't get to be a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get to be a jerk. If you are, you just don't get privileges. It's just not how this thing works. Yeah. You have to be kind and participate in the family and help out, and then you get privileges. Otherwise, you don't. Yeah. And lately, we had that conversation one time, and she was like, okay. Like, okay. And she's, like, been a different person. Like, Moxie is 4 years old, and she's in preschool. And Olive wants to be at school on time, but she has to be at school before everybody because she's in a leadership position at school, and she does the announcements and the morning prayer, and she's, like, in charge of stuff. And so we're not going to take, like, 2 trips to school, like you and then the others.
5 minutes away.
Even though we have done that
many
times. But I'd rather not. Yeah. And so I'm like, you are part of a family. You don't get to just, like, sit there and be like, I'm ready, hurry up, like, get all your stuff, like, like, I'm leaving. Like, you don't get to do that. Yeah. Like, help out. And so she got Moxie dressed, did her hair, helped out with the lunches, got people's water bottles. Like, she's been doing that every morning. And I don't know if you've noticed, she's made her bed every single morning. She's decorated her own room, like, cute for Christmas. Yeah. And so she, like, puts the little holiday stuff out, and she's just growing. And I feel like having that one little conversation made a difference.
Yeah, that is huge. It's funny.
So we have to verbally tell her how grateful we are
Yes.
for that. So you should say, like, I was so grateful last night when you came in and told me all about your day.
Yeah.
Because I was telling you I felt like I didn't know you, and like now I feel like I do. Like I love that.
Yeah,
Because then she'll like positive.
I like it. I will. Yeah, it's funny because I was just talking to my friend Tyson about this, where it's like a lot of times we can be critical with our kids and be able to like tell them the things that they do wrong, but then we like forget when they're doing the right things. We're just like, yeah, you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But we don't say it, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like good job, thank you for doing that. Like I noticed that you did that. It's really,
Well, and just speaking of gratitude, like showing, man, I'm so thankful that you helped get your sister dressed this
Huge,
morning.
too.
That helped
Really
out. That
is.
helped us out so much. See, we were on time. We all got to go together. Like so thankful that you helped pack the lunches and get the kids out the door on time. Man, I couldn't do that without your help. Thank you so much. With your spouse, with your kids, with your employees, with your teammates, with your parents, like everybody. And then they want to do it more. You know, it's like, and then you're happier. And you don't eat as much and you exercise more because you're practicing gratitude.
I like it. It's true.
You know, one other thing that they say,
What?
that if your spouse, it is also, I've just been reading all these science research things
You're a
lately.
scientist,
I
babe?
don't know, but I am a reader.
Researcher.
They said that just the basic act of every morning and every night embracing your partner, your spouse with a hug, like contributes to like much more closeness and intimacy in that relationship.
Yeah.
Like starting the morning, that's why if you notice in the morning you woke up and I was like, I gave you a
Yeah.
big hug. And I was like, I'm so glad you're awake. Thank you for waking up and being a part of the family. And you're like, wow, I like this hug.
Yeah, it's worth
See?
it. 3 hours later after you woke up. No, I'm just kidding.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you.
know. Yeah.
No, but just like it was cool.
No, I know.
And it worked.
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
But that's awesome. I did like it. I do like a hug in the morning.
but that was right when you woke up.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I had been awake
I was
for
making
3
fun of
hours.
myself.
Gotcha.
Saying that.
No, actually, it wasn't. That's what was so cool about it.
Yeah.
Like you were up early.
Yes.
So thank you for that. I appreciate
It's
it.
because I got woken up by Moxie. She wanted to tell me where the elf was.
That was so cute.
Like, Dad, let me show you. The elf moved. It moved.
So, what are some of the ways that you could show and practice gratitude this week?
But Thanksgiving is over.
Thanksgiving, babe. It's
Oh, I
Thanksgiving.
never even heard that. That's good.
Boom.
It's fall, y'all.
It's fall,
I
y'all.
think this like came up like every time. I've never seen that before, and I see that everywhere this fall. And now Thanksgiving. It's
Thanksgiving.
great. I'm probably gonna see it everywhere.
Yep. I saw it once. I can't take the credit.
I assumed you saw it on some block of wood.
I was almost going to not tell you, and then I couldn't do it. I was dying inside.
I'm sure
I wanted
you
to take the credit, but
hung
I
goods,
couldn't. I saw it
piece of
somewhere.
wood
Don't
or
even
something.
remember. I think I heard somebody else say it, and I was like, I like it.
Yeah, well, whoever made that up, good job.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. Till next time.
Till next time. Love ya.
We got our kids' YouTube Christmas coming out today too. So check
Yes.
it out.